They say immortality is a gift, but they never tell you about the loneliness that comes with it. They never tell you how eternity tastes, cold, metallic, like the blood of someone you once loved. Tonight I will tell you the truth. Not of monsters or myths, but of a love that defied God and was buried alive in the heart of a man you now call Dracula. My name has been whispered for centuries: Vlad, Teeps, Nosferatu, the Impaler, the Devil's Son. But before I was any of these things, I was simply a man in love. A soldier, a husband, a fool who thought love could survive war and time. What they never wrote in the books is that my curse was not born from cruelty. It was born from devotion. Stay with me, because before this night ends, you'll see how even the purest love can rot in the dark. I once ruled a land carved from fear and fire. Transylvania, my kingdom of stone and shadow. The people obeyed me, not because they loved me, but because I made them afraid to betray me. They say fear keeps men loyal. But what keeps a man's heart loyal? Her name was Alina. She was the only light in my world of iron. She moved like moonlight through a cathedral, soft, untouchable, dangerous to look at for too long. The daughter of a noble enemy, captured during a siege. She should have hated me. But when she looked at me, there was no hate, only pity. That pity burned worse than any blade. And so began my undoing. She came to me in silence, in the dim of the chapel, where I prayed to a God that had long stopped listening. Her voice was calm, almost mocking. "You pray for forgiveness," she said, "but do you even know what you've done wrong?" In that moment, I hated her. Because she saw me. Not the monster, not the general, me. I told her love was for peasants and poets. She only smiled and said, "Even kings bleed the same color." That was the first time I felt something other than rage. That was the first time I wanted something I couldn't conquer. Night after night, she returned. We spoke of faith, of death, of the sins that twist the soul. And slowly, her voice replaced the silence in my mind. Her eyes replaced my sleep. But every light casts a shadow. The church despised me for my cruelty. The nobles plotted behind my back. And the war never ended. It only moved from the battlefield to my heart. Rumors spread that the Prince of Wallachia had fallen for his prisoner, that he would betray his people for a woman's touch. They laughed. They whispered. And in the end, they struck. One winter's night, while I was at war, the enemy breached the castle walls. They told Elena I was dead. They told her I had been beheaded and my head displayed on a pike. Grief has no logic. She threw herself from the tower before sunrise. When I returned, the snow was red. And the sky would never forgive me again. They say the devil came for me that night. That he offered me vengeance for her soul. But the truth is far more human. I begged for her return. I cursed heaven, tore the cross from my chest, and drank from the chalice meant for God. Wine mixed with blood. Faith turned into fury. The candlelight twisted around me, whispers, shadows, shapes that moved when I didn't. Something ancient heard me. And it answered. Love, it said, is the sweetest poison. When I opened my eyes, the world had changed. My breath was gone, yet I did not die. My heart beat no more, yet I could hear every heart within 10 miles. My skin burned under the sun, but in the dark, I was alive again. I found the men who lied to her. One by one, I fed upon them. Their screams built the tower of my new name, Dracula. Son of the dragon. Son of nothing. Each life I took should have filled the void. But it only deepened it. Because every throat I tore open, every pulse that stopped beneath my hands. I saw her face. Elena. Even in death, she would not leave me. I searched for her soul across centuries, through empires, through wars, through cities built on the bones of the innocent. I found her again and again. In faces that were never hers. In voices that almost sounded right. But time is cruel, and every time I loved, fate took it away. That is the curse I bear, not immortality, but endless remembrance. You see me now as a monster, a legend, a ghost that hides in castles and stories, whispered to frighten children. But I was a man once, and that man still screams in the dark. I have lived long enough to see kingdoms crumble, religions rewritten, lovers reborn, and stars burn out. Yet I remain. I've stood in the shadows of my own myth, watching the world forget what love truly costs. People speak my name with fear, but they should whisper it with sorrow. Because what I did for love. Alina's soul, they say, is free now. Reincarnated, reborn into the world I can never touch. And sometimes, when the moon is low and the earth smells of rain, I swear I can hear her laughter in the wind. And it almost feels like peace. Almost. But peace is a luxury for the living. For me, there is only the weight. The centuries stretching like tombs between heartbeats. And the memory of her eyes still forgiving me. Still killing me. So when you hear the stories of Dracula, the fangs, the coffins, the crimson nights, remember this. They were never about hunger. They were about griefs. About a man who loved so deeply that even death couldn't end it. If I could turn back time, I would not ask for mercy. I would only ask for one more sunrise with her. Because love, real love, is the only thing worth dying for. And sometimes worth becoming a monster for. Stay a while or follow me into the next tale.